Welcome back guys to our channel Studying Sprout. In our previous video we have studied the interior of the earth, and that is very important if you want to understand this chapter, distribution of oceans and continents. Okay, and so I'll recommend you to watch that video and the link is in the description box. So the position of continents and oceans changes with passage of time, and we will go through all these questions one by one in this chapter. Okay, the continents cover about 29% of the surface of the earth, and the remainder is under oceanic waters. Okay, and now we will study about the continental drift theory. Okay, Abraham Ortelius, a Dutch map maker in 1596, first proposed the possibility of joining the continents such as America with Europe and Africa. Then Antonio Pellegrini drew the map showing the three continents together. Alfred Wegener, a German meteorologist, put forth the continental drift theory. And according to him, all continents formed a single continental mass called Pangaea, and all oceans formed a single universal ocean called Panthalassa. Okay. Around 200 million years ago, the Pangaea began to split into two large masses called Laurasia and Gondwana land. And by further splitting, Laurasia formed northern continents and Gondwana land formed southern continents. Okay. Now we will come about evidences in support of this continental drift theory. And the first of it is the matching of continents, that is jigsaw fit. It is in this evidence, it has said that the shorelines of South America and Africa have remarkable match. Okay, a map was produced by Bullard in 1964. You have to learn the name. I have underlined each and everything so that you can underline it in your book. Okay, so underline this. It will be very useful in your exam time. A map was produced by Bullard in 1964 to show the jigsaw fit of these two continents. It was fit around 2000 fathom line of the shoreline. Okay. Next is rocks of the same age across the oceans. The belt of ancient rocks of 2000 mile from Brazil coast matches with those of Western Africa, and marine deposits of South America and Africa belong to Jurassic age. Okay. This was the evidence given of the rocks of the same across the oceans. Okay. Next is stilite. Then it is a sedimentary rock formed out of glacial deposits. Sediments formed from India have similar counterparts at different continents of South. Stilite indicates prolonged glaciations. The same glaciations is found in Africa, Falklands, Madagascar, Antarctica, and Australia. The glacial stilite indicates that unambiguous evidence of paleoclimates and drifting of continents. Okay. Now we'll move to placer deposits. In this, it has told that the formation of placer deposits of gold in Ghana coast has no source rock, and the gold-bearing veins of rocks are found in Brazil. Okay. Next is distribution of fossils. And in distribution of fossils, identical species of animals and plants are found along the coastal regions of the different continents. Lemurs occurs in India, Madagascar, and Africa. The contiguous landmass was called Lemuria. Okay. And the fossils of Mesoceras were found only in South Africa and Brazil. I hope what I'm telling it's very clear. So next is force for drifting. Wegener suggested that the movement responsible for the drifting of the continents was caused by two forces, that are pole fleeing force and tidal force. And polar fleeing force relates to the rotation of the earth, and the tidal force is due to the attraction of the moon and the sun that developed tides in oceanic waters. Okay, Wegener suggested that these two forces are responsible for the movement of plates, and most of the scholars consider that these two forces are not sufficient to move the plates. Okay, now we'll move to the post-drift studies. In post-drift studies are information collected about the ocean. There are the information collected about the ocean. Mapping is more useful to study the continental drift. Okay. Now we'll move to convectional current theory. It was proposed by Arthur Holmes in 1930. Due to difference in the temperature, currents are formed due to disintegration of radioactive materials inside the earth. Okay. These currents are found in the entire mantle portion. Next is mapping of the ocean floor. Okay, existence of ridges and deep trenches nearby continental margins. Then mid-ocean, these are the evidences. Okay, mid-oceanic ridge is the most active for volcanic eruptions. The ocean floor is much younger than the continents, and the last one is rocks of equal distance of the ridge have similar chemical composition and age. Okay, now we'll move on to the ocean floor configuration. And this figure, you see this figure. According to this figure only, I'm teaching. Okay. In ocean floor configuration, the ocean floor is segmented into three major divisions based on depth and configuration. Okay, continental margins, first one is continental margins, and forms a transitional zone between continental shore and deep sea basins. They include continental slope, shelf, continental rise, and deep oceanic trenches. That's called abyssal basins, plains. Sorry, extensive plains. These are extensive plains found between continental margin and mid-oceanic ridge, and these are continental segments get deposited. These are the places where continental segments get deposited. Okay. Within the ocean. It is submerged under the oceanic waters, okay, and it is the longest mountain chain on the surface of the earth, and it is characterized by central rift system at the crest. Okay, it means that at the crest it is somewhat uplifted. Okay, and in the previous chapter I have told you about the mid-oceanic volcanoes. It is likewise only. Okay, now we'll move to the next topic, distribution of earthquakes and volcanoes. All volcanoes and earthquakes are parallel to the coast. This line also coincides with mid-Atlantic ridge, the alpine Himalayan system, and around the Pacific Ocean it is called the Ring of Fire as mid-oceanic ridges. Okay. And here in mid-oceanic ridges, I forgot to mention one point, that intense volcanic activity is found. Okay. Now we'll move to concept of sea floor spreading. See this diagram. Okay, it shows the distribution of earthquakes and oceans. This is the Ring of Fire. It is a Hawaii place called Hawaii. This is Galapagos, Yellowstone. This is all the earthquake zones. You can see here hotspots, volcanic eruptions, shallow earthquake zones, and deep earthquake zones. It is marked by this only. You have to study this diagram in your book. Okay, now we'll move to the concept of seafloor spreading. Okay, it was proposed by Hess in 1961. Okay, he believed that new lava pushes out the plates from the mid-oceanic ridges. Paleomagnetic studies of the ocean floor reveals that along the mid-oceanic ridge there is intense volcanic eruption. Huge amount of lava comes out along the mid-Atlantic ridges. The equidistant rock formations have a similar age and chemical compositions and magnetic properties. Rocks closer to the mid-oceanic ridges are young and normal polarity. The age of rocks increases as the distance increases from the mid-oceanic ridge. Okay, and the oceanic crust is much younger, 200 million years ago, than continental crust, that is 3200 million years ago. Okay, the sediments of ocean floor is very thin, and earthquakes are common along the deep sea trenches, positions of continents through geological past. Okay, these were about the concept of seafloor spreading. Our next topic is plate tectonics. Okay, I've told you everything about seafloor spreading point wise. I have not missed any point. You read one by one, line by line, go through the books, then you will understand every point. Okay, I have told you each and every line in point form. Now next topic is plate tectonics. Plate tectonics and the theory of plate tectonics was introduced by Mackenzie, Parker, and Morgan in 1967. A tectonic plate is also called as lithosphere plate. It is a massive, irregularly shaped slab of solid rock, and it consists of oceanic and continental sphere. Plates move horizontally over the asthenosphere. Average thickness is 100 km of oceanic part and 200 km continental part. It may be oceanic or continental, and the Pacific plate is largest oceanic plate, whereas Eurasian plate is the largest continental plate. Okay, major plates of the Earth's crust. This diagram you see here, it's about the position of the Earth 540 million years ago. This is about 540 million years ago. You can see how disintegrated our continents were there. Then after 420 million years ago it is, and this is about 300 million years ago, and this is about the present Earth. Okay, it is about 120 million years ago, and this is about our present Earth. So you can see here India in our present Earth. This is our India, number 5. Okay, so this is how our country India was formed. First of all, it was in the Australian belt, Australian plateau, and it got detached and got submerged in the Asian plateau. Okay, next we will learn about here are some major and minor plates. Okay, so we will go through one by one. Antarctica and these are the major plates. Okay, Antarctica and the surrounding oceanic plate. Number 1, North American plate. This is North American plate. Number 2, this is then South American plate, Pacific plate, India, Australia, New Zealand plate. Okay, this is South American plate, this is Pacific plate, this is India, Australia, New Zealand plate, then Africa with the Eastern Atlantic floor plate, and Eurasia and the adjacent oceanic plate. Okay, these are the major continent plates. Now we'll study minor plates. Okay, minor plates are Cocos plate, it is between Central America and Pacific plate. Okay, Nazca plate, this is between South America and Pacific plate. And Arabian plate, mostly of the Saudi Arabian landmass, and this is Philippine plate between the Asiatic and Pacific plate. Okay, so next one is Caroline plate and Fuji plate. Okay, Caroline and Fuji, these are all minor plates. So these plates are the characteristics of these plates are that these plates are moving constantly throughout geological time. Not the continent believed by Wegener, Pangaea was the convergent all the plates. Okay, position of Indian subcontinent is traced with the help of rocks analyzed from Nagpur area. Okay, so you have Nagpur area is the place where position analyzed rocks are analyzed from there. Okay. So now we'll move to the plate boundaries. There are 3 types of plate boundaries. First of all, we'll study about divergent boundaries. Okay, in divergent boundaries, new crust is generated. Plates move away from each other, and these are called spreading sites. Okay, example is Mid-Atlantic ridge. It's an example of divergent boundaries. Okay, now next is convergent boundaries. In convergent boundaries, crust is destroyed. Sinking of plate is called subduction zone, and there are 3 ways in which subduction occurs. First is ocean and continent subduction, and second in ocean and ocean continent subduction, and third is continent and ocean continent plates subduction. Okay, so here you can see a table is shown in which a type of margin, motion, effect, topography and volcanic activity is given. Okay, of all the types. So we'll see this, it's important. If motion is spreading, its divergent boundary or type of margin is if divergent, so motion will be spreading, and effect will be its constructive effect. Okay, oceanic lithosphere be created, and topography will be rift. Okay, volcanic activity will be taking place. Okay, type of margin if convergent, then subduction, motion will be subduction, and effect will be destructive. Here every figure is given. Okay, so you see here in divergent boundaries lithosphere is formed, and convergent subduction is taking place. Here subduction is taking place, so one layer is moving down, subduction means one layer goes down, subduction taking place, and its effects is destructive. Oceanic lithosphere is destroyed. Topography is trench, it forms trench. Okay, and yes, it takes volcanic activity takes place. Transform, if transform margin is there, motion will be lateral sliding. You can see in the figure lateral sliding takes place. Effect will be conservative because lithosphere is neither created nor destroyed, and topography is no major effect, and volcanic, there will be no volcanic activity. Okay, so now we'll be, read about transform boundaries. Okay, in transform boundaries, crust is neither produced nor destroyed. Plates slide horizontally perpendicular to the mid-oceanic ridges. These are perpendicular to the mid-oceanic ridges. Okay, fourth point is differential movement of a plate at the same time. Rotation of the earth has its effect on the movement. Okay, now next is rates of plate movement. The strips of normal and reverse magnetic field help the scientists to study the rate of plate movement. Arctic ridge has the slowest rate, less than 2.5 cm per year. East Pacific rise has more than 15 cm per year. Okay. Now next is forces for the plate movement. Surface of the earth is dynamic, and second, interior is always mobile. Beneath the lithosphere, there is always movement of magma horizontally. Okay, and heated material rises to the top and cooled material sinks down, and this cycle is repeated over time and forms convection cells. Sources of heat are residual heat, radioactive decay, and it was first considered by Arthur Holmes in 1930. Okay, later it's also influenced by Harry Hess. Okay, Harry Hess was also influenced by it. Then our next point is movement of the Indian plate. Indian plate includes India and Australia. Now, northern boundary is along the Himalayas, and it is the place of continental convergence. In the east, it extends up to Rakhine-Yoma Mountains of Myanmar. Okay, Rakhine-Yoma Mountains. Okay, Rakhine-Yoma Mountains of Myanmar. Eastern margin is a spreading site, and western margin extends along Kirthar Mountains, Makran Coast, and Red Sea Rift. Okay. The boundary between India and Antarctica is called divergent boundary. Until 225 million years ago, India was separated by Tethys Sea. Okay, there was a sea named Tethys. You might have heard this name, Tethys Sea. About 200 million years ago, India started its journey towards north, and you can see this figure. What I'm telling, the figure is in the figure. It is shown very clearly. Okay, so you can relate with the figure what I'm telling here. About 200 million years, India started its journey towards the north, and India collided with Asia about 40 to 50 million years ago and caused the upliftment of Himalayas. Just as it subducted, upliftment of Himalayas caused place due to collision of India with the Asian plate. Okay. About 140 million years ago, the position of Indian plate is at 50 degrees south latitude, and during the movement of Indian plate, two events occurred in India. First is outpouring of lava and formation of Deccan Plateau. This Deccan Plateau is the result of when India was came into Asia. Okay, so outpouring of lava and formation of Deccan Plateau, and the second is subsidence of West Coast. So Himalayas started rising about 40 million years ago. So Himalayas are 40 million years ago old. Thank you so much to all for watching this video till the last. I hope you found this video informative, and if there is any suggestion, please put it down in the comment section, and I'll be uploading more videos, so stay tuned. Thank you.